Welcome to the Tabletop Galaxy, an actual play podcast using the Star Wars Roleplaying game by Fantasy Flight Games. You're listening to Broken Space, a campaign utilizing the Edge of the Empire sourcebooks and featuring two groups that affect a shared storyline. This is episode 1 of the Crew of the Second Sunrise. I am your Space Dungeon Master, Steven, and with me today, we've got, why don't you introduce yourselves and who you're playing?
Ellie.
Niffer.
Oh, cool. I'm like, we didn't establish an order for this.
Alphabetical.
I'm Nifferniff.
Alphabetical.
I'm playing Ellie, who is a Twi'lek, and she's a colonist politico. That's her career and specialization. So,
Sweet.
passing
And
it down.
Kane.
My name is Nick from Roll Initiative. You can find us at Twitter at Initiative Roll. And I'm playing Kane, and I am a human hired gun.
Pew, pew, pew. Specifically, a mercenary soldier.
Yeah, that's the one.
I am Seal. I am OneCritWonder on the internet, and I am playing Vosk today. He is a Duros technician mechanic.
Good evening, friends. I am Gregory, and you can find me on the internet either Gregory Festo or 1N20DND. And I am stoked to be playing Zarko Cruz, Human Explorer Scout.
Awesome. And like I said, my name's Steven. I am the Space Dungeon Master here. You can find me on Twitter at @the_baddm. I'm also the Dungeon Master of the Not Quite Heroes podcast, which is at NQH Podcast, and the up-and-coming Faeforge Academy, which is at Faeforge, FAE Forge Academy, which are both D&D 5e actual play shows. So if you tuned into our session 0, you got a little bit of background on some of these characters and everything, and we're going to jump right in, though I'm going to give you guys kind of that hook again. You don't need to make the perception rolls.
Because
Vosk,
I already passed.
because you did the thing with the dice. And also before we jump in, we are all pretty stinking new to this system. So there's going to be a lot of story, a lot of laughing, a lot of fun, and a lot of messing up rules and learning together as a team. So bear with us. If you have constructive and positive feedback, we'd love to hear about that. If you're going to be a jerk, we just keep that to yourself.
We'll still take it. We'll just completely disregard it because you're a jerk.
Word.
All the bad
So-
NPCs after you.
With that, let me pull up the right notes because I have so many notes about rules and story and all sorts of stuff. All right, y'all ready?
Ready.
I'm ready for that sweet obligation roll that's totally going to land
Yeah,
on Zarko.
I was thinking the same thing.
We need to roll for obligation and for ship.
Yeah, we need to. Oh, and for 4 stuff. So let's do those rolls, and then I'll give you guys the crawl text and set the scene. Sound good?
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Start with the destiny roll because
Yeah.
you should be able to roll at the top of your character sheet. There should be buttons for that.
and
Just
if I
roll
remember right,
destiny,
I
right?
don't roll for that. That's just the characters that roll, correct?
Just the characters.
Ooh,
There's
we're doing
button
good.
that's-
Too
That's
dark.
not a good start.
Hey, go Vosk with
Carrying
two
the
light.
team.
Roll for destiny.
Remember, we're gonna do that thing where we tell people what our roles are because we are doing an audio only version as well. So Vosk got 2 light side.
And Zarko got 1 dark.
Kane got 1 dark.
Ellie got 1 dark.
Literally carrying the team.
And we hope that if you're tuning in, you're excited to learn about this Star Wars RPG by Fantasy Flights as well. So we're gonna probably do a little more explaining on these, especially this first episode or two. But essentially, one of the things you do at the beginning of every episode is you roll a destiny pool, and the players can spend the light points, and me as the Space Dungeon Master, I can spend the dark points to affect kind of the dice pools, because Fantasy Flight uses a unique set of dice to kind of determine the outcomes of what happens. And so these kind of represent the force working with or against the crew and the destiny that they have before them.
It lets you not only affect the dice pool because the players can upgrade their dice pool, whereas the dungeon master can upgrade the difficulty or the dice pool of the NPCs and enemies, but it also lets you affect kind of the narrative. You can flip a story point to be like, oh, I know this guy we've met before, or you can interject something into the scene. Like I want to flip a light side point to say that there's an explosive barrel behind that guy or something like that. You can not just change the dice, you can change the story, approved by the GM, of course.
Can I just say it's really bold of Fantasy Flight to assume that we are the light side, by the way?
I mean,
That's
you
true. I mean,
just
fair
gotta flip
point.
it, I guess.
we could switch it if you want. Not today because I want those points.
Oh,
I see what she was doing there.
And they flip back and forth. So as the dark side points get used, then there are more and more light side points that we get to use, and vice versa.
Yeah, every time you use a point, you flip it to the other side. So it's kind of this ebb and flow of the light and the dark working against each other, which is really cool. There's a lot of things that are really narrative about this system, and we're excited to do that. So the next role we're gonna do is the obligation role.
Yep.
So
I have a little macro for it, and
cool.
everybody is at 20 except Zarko. You stayed at 10, correct?
I'm the only one in both groups that only has 10, which means
Yeah.
I'm doomed. Or at least I'm interpreting it that way.
I have a single button.
I do hashtag obligation.
I have a single button I can press on my end. I don't know what it looks like on your end in terms of the macro, but if you give me permission,
I did the thing. I think
mine looks like this.
Who's it gonna be? I said that it was gonna be me. I called it before the stream.
Just glad it wasn't me.
So I will put that in a note for you if it is not already, Stephen, and then you can make the macro on your end if you want to be the obligation roller from now on.
I'm happy for you too because I don't know technology and things.
Plus, then we can always blame Seal for anything that goes wrong with obligation.
Exactly.
Solid.
But it's interesting to me that you can see the rollable table in the game, so it's not just for me. So that's spiffy. But I made a handout called Obligation, and you'll see the macro essentially that I use for it, which references that rollable table.
Cool. Oh, I clicked on the.
You clicked on the table, not on the macro.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Not important to the stream or to the system. It's just something that we're using since we are here in Roll20 to facilitate this long distance play.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And now it's set for next time.
So
yeah, for the podcast, the obligations of Ellie weigh upon the group. Woohoo!
What does that mean for us as a group?
Yeah. So what that means, each character in their background this is part of the character creation process. And if you check out our session 0, you'll see some of that. Each character has a starting obligation number, which is a mechanic that Fantasy Flight put in this game to basically represent we're on the edge of the empire. We're in the black markets, the criminal organizations, the outer rims. And this obligation is basically saying people out here, your average person is not out here just doing whatever they want. They owe the Hutts, the Black Sun, their family something. Maybe they have this deep desire to explore, but that costs something. And so obligation is this really cool narrative tool that Fantasy Flight put into the game to give the GM a mechanic to bring in these parts of the backstory. And so at the beginning of every session, you roll obligation, and it's kind of up to my discretion for whoever is rolled. It's a D100 roll. All your obligation. I think our group started with 70, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. So you roll a D100. Each character, starting with the lowest, going up to the highest, if I remember right, but it might be backwards.
Starting with the highest and going to the lowest.
Yeah. So, like I said, backwards. Takes up a chunk of that D100, and when you roll it, if you roll one of those numbers, that obligation for that individual has the potential to show up during the session. And how that happens, we're going to have to wait and find out. But now Ellie's
Yay.
going to be stressed out the whole time.
Great. Now Nipper is also stressed out the whole time.
I can't imagine why the person who stole a super unique ship, ran from the Dark Sun, and ended up on a planet that has Dark Sun on it might be a little bit stressed and might be putting just a tad bit of stress on everybody else.
Yeah, it's a mystery. It's hard to say.
Weird.
It's really surprising is what it is. Actually, I'm really excited because that really fits well in.
You were rooting for that, weren't you?
I'm going to be honest. I was actually rooting for Zarko because it was the most off the wall.
It'll
But
happen
come.
soon enough.
Yeah. The time will come.
Time.
The other thing that's cool about obligation, we're probably talking too much about this, but I'm going to do it anyways, is it's actually a resource that the players can do things throughout the story to lower that obligation or to raise it. So perhaps there's a piece of equipment that they want that costs a little bit more money. They can go to the Huts, the Black Sun, one of these big criminal organizations, a shady random loan shark or whatever. Be like, hey, I need a little bit of extra cash. And that loan gives them the credits, but then it also increases their obligation. So there's a lot of really cool stuff about that. Okay. The last role we're going to do is, why don't you describe the second sunrise, since we've already said what it is.
So who's going to talk about the ship?
The one who stole it.
Yeah, I think that should be Ellie's job.
So I don't remember the actual name of the model, but the ship is called the Second Sunrise, and it's the equivalent of like an antique that my character Ellie stole from her family, her dad's old collection, basically, because part of the thing that is straining the entire team right now is she stole from her family who's a part of the Black Sun. And so she stole their property and a lot of their money and then left. And she hired Zarko and got out to the Outer Rim. And so they're in kind of a recognizable ship, the excess stocklight freighter. Thanks. But we've renamed it the Second Sunrise because it's a new start on life for all of us, maybe. And yeah.
Yeah, and because it's so old, we thought it would be fun to make a table of kind of random characteristics that can show up.
So who gets to
who wants to roll
re-roll for that?
That D20 is a D20, right?
Yeah. Do I get to because it's my ship?
Yeah.
Here we go.
19.
Of course, 19 would be the one that we haven't filled in yet.
Reroll it.
Again.
All
I
right,
think
reroll.
on roll 20, you can do like whatever dice you need.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. That's true. All right, roll a
118
D16 then.
or 16.
Right, we have 17. So here we go, D17. So 3, which means the toilet flushes whenever the ship enters or exits hyperspace. It's not that inconvenient, but nobody can figure out how or why the jump drive is hooked into the plumbing.
Perfect.
All right.
Yeah, and so if you're not familiar with Star Wars freighter lore, the excess stocklight freighter is a freighter from the Old Republic. So this is like a 1,000-year-old ship. It's super old. It's like
Literally,
it's like one of us driving a Model T.
Yeah.
But actually a horse.
We have a horse. There we
Yeah.
go.
Essentially. So it's a very recognizable, unique looking ship. Okay. So with that, with our roles done, we've got our obligation, we've got our destiny pool that I'm sure I'm going to forget to use. We've got our ship quirk. Let's jump into episode 1 of Broken Space Second Sunrise. The galaxy is in chaos. The rebellion has just defeated the Empire's superweapon, the Death Star. The Imperial forces have responded by tightening their grip wherever possible. But in the chaos, the outer rims, the black market world lives on. Though even the largest organizations have found the Imperials breathing down their necks. Jobs are harder to come by for those not specifically owned and trusted by any of the major syndicates. On the arid black desert world of Socorro, A loose alliance between major crime organizations keeps the peace, as the illegal ship modifications found here are the best in the galaxy. Now, if you remember, you are in Feartalk's Lounge, a small cantina run by Feartalk, who is an old female Wookiee. She's got kind of graying fur. There's beads and dreads and braids kind of at various points. She's across the way from you, cleaning the counters, wiping down ales. It's early in the afternoon. You guys have been the Second Sunrise crew has been struggling to find some jobs. You're tight on cash. You're not really sure what your next step needs to be. And in this cantina in the city of Vakea, which is the capital, if you can call a city the capital of Socorro, which has no government. It's basically a loose alliance between all of these crime syndicates. The Imperials even have a small presence there. You're here having some drinks, cooling off. It's a hot, dry day. There's just a single Biff playing in the corner, providing a little bit of music, a few booths, a couple individuals at the bar. And as you're sitting kind of chatting with each other, why don't you give me a description of each of your characters so that the listeners can really get a good image of what this looks like. Let's start with you, Niffer.
Ellie is a light purple Twi'lek. She's got an awesome poncho because that's what I decided to go with. She's quite small compared to the rest of the group and is kind of just like always checking the exits and kind of like not really focusing on her people so much as focusing on everyone else. Thank you for whoever called me fun-sized in the chat. Yeah. Anything else from me or?
No, that's good.
All right.
Nick, tell me about Kane.
Kane McAllister. He's a blonde hair, 5 o'clock shadow. Your classic action hero build. He's got a cool guy jacket. He definitely works out.
Says it right on the character sheet.
It's true.
It does. It's canon. He sits unusually upright due to his like military training and background. And he's got that kind of formal look about him always. And he's constantly scanning the room. He's always listening, but he's always got his ear out for something else.
This group just hates eye contact, apparently.
Yeah, and Kane is a human, just to clarify that.
Yep. Sorry.
No worries. Vosk.
Vosk is a Doros. He's one of those green aliens that got the like pupilless orange eyes and no nose. Well, he's got like little slits for a nose, but no nose, no ears. Green Area 51 looking alien guy. But he's dressed in like a sand colored tan t-shirt, and he has on a set of overalls, but he's taken the top off and kind of tied the sleeves around his waist because it's just too hot to like actually be wearing the overalls around everywhere. But being a mechanic, he's kind of dirty and grimy, and especially working on this ship that the group so graciously brought me. It's a 24/7 kind of job. So I am grateful for the chance to be sitting here in what could kind of pass for air conditioning and having some drinks instead of out there hammering away on that hunk of metal that's about 115 degrees right now.
Perfect. Zarko, I think you're last.
Yeah.
But not least. Definitely not least.
So Zarko is kind of like sitting there. He's pretty much the opposite of Kane. So Kane is this really prim, proper dude. He's kind of like very rigid. Zarko's the opposite. He's kind of kicked back, relaxed. He looks like he's having the time of his life all the time. He wears like a leather duster and essentially cargo pants and boots. He looks like he's ready for anything. Always has his backpack with him, and he's got a light blaster on his side. He's got
Perfect.
dark hair and usually has facial hair. Kind of looks like, space Viking. He's got a mohawk, so the sides are shaved, keep him a little cool. Yeah, that's
Space
Beads in the beard too,
Techno-Viking.
right?
Yep. What's that? Oh, that's right. And yes, we had established that. Yeah, he right now at least he's got kind of a long goatee looking thing and a couple beads braided into the extended chin hair.
We got 5 o'clock shadow. We got like Jack Sparrow beard beads,
Exactly.
and like poor Voss can't even grow facial hair.
Ellie can't grow any hair, so yay.
Hair is for humans
Yeah.
and Wookiees and various other species. All right. So you all are sitting here trying to cool off, spitballing ideas about what your next job is. And as you're kind of talking, kind of rushed in through the front door, this cantina, just to kind of describe it a little bit better. Imagine there's a bar in the center where the drinks are, kind of like a square structure, and then around that is where the seating and the booths and the tables are. So if you wanted to go get a drink, you'd go to the center of this building. From where you're sitting, kind of to the right, is where the entrance is, and through that entrance, a female with a hood up. It's kind of blue and gray. There's kind of spots of this black dust that's all over from Socorro, which is this volcanic planet. She rushes in. She kind of looks around, and she sees that there's a little bit of space at your booth, and she rushes in and sits down really quickly and says, please help me. Be still and be quiet, and act like this is all normal. And just to bring this back around, in our session 0, we actually played through this small section, and Voss did a perception check to see what he could tell about this individual. And what you notice, Voss, is one, she seems to be a Zabrok. You notice the small horns poking off her head. You see she's got her pale skin, long black beautiful hair that actually covers most of these horns. There's just a couple barely sticking out. Like I said, this blue gray cloak that's got some black from the ash or dirt outside, the dust outside. And you see really quickly, and she puts it back in really fast. And Voss, you're the one who notices it. Just a little necklace that has the rebel phoenix, the sign of the rebellion on it. And she puts it back in. And as she does that, 3 humans also walk through the door. One of them has their gun drawn. And the other thing, Voss, you would notice about these individuals is they carry a Hut symbol on them.
You said they were members of a Hut cartel?
Of a Hut cartel of some sort, though you don't know exactly which cartel it is. You do know it's not the one you are most familiar with.
Okay.
One of them has their weapons drawn. And as they come in, you see this woman reach underneath her, kind of her tunic, her cloak, and pull out a cred stick and says, I've got 400 credits if you can keep me safe from these thugs.
That we could probably do.
And she slides it back in, says, thank you.
Well, then the best thing that we'll have to do is have you make some conversation. So why don't you tell us where you're from just a little bit? Just make it look casual, right?
She kind of glances over her shoulder quickly, says, yes, and pulls her hood down a little bit more. My name is Shay. What about you all?
I'm Ellie, and this is my crew. So what brings you here today?
As you say crew, you see kind of her face light up a little bit. You do jobs together.
On occasion.
And I will.
Vosk is out of the corner of his eye watching the guys, despite the fact that I'm paying attention to the conversation. I'm going to be the one. I imagine that based on where she sat down and the fact that I could see her and see the symbol, that the guys are behind her. So I'm kind of just looking past her, but trying to be sly about it.
Okay. Yeah. So what you see, Vosk, is you see one of them blaster drawn. The other two do not have their weapons out. Just kind of, they kind of stopped at the entrance. There's about 5 stairs down to get to where they could walk smoothly. Kind of above, just scanning the environment, and you guys hear also as Fear Talk kind of yells at them, particularly at the first one, and kind of step out of character real quick. One of the things about Edge of the Empire is it's assumed that everybody can communicate with everyone, so that you're not hung up, because there's literally thousands of languages. And back
it makes for a good story for you not to. Like if it's the perfect reason for you to like, I don't speak Wookiee, then you can interject that. But otherwise, like you said, you speak every language until you decide I don't speak Gungan.
Yeah, exactly. And nobody should speak Gungan.
I don't speak basic. Done.
Actually, I kind of see her as being a little bit basic. So
I'm purple, not white.
And so you hear Fear Talk yell something along the lines of, "Hey, there's no guns allowed in here. Put that away." And then back to Shay. Oh, go ahead, Vosk.
Does that mean that we don't have our guns?
You have them not out. She's basically saying like, put your gun away.
Got it. It's an important distinction before something happens.
Yes.
Have a weapon or not.
And that's a thing we all hear.
Yeah. You all would all hear. Feartak she is loud, and she has been running this cantina for a long time. And to give you a little more context, you guys are in Vakea, which is the capital-ish city of Socorro, in what's considered kind of a neutral zone. So none of the criminal organizations own this section. So it's supposed to be a friendly place for the most part. Though there is no government, so friendly is a very loose term.
Everyone is equally unfriendly.
Exactly.
I believe I had just asked Shay what she was doing or where she had come from. Something along that line. She says,
I was working a job a bit. Perhaps when the situation cools down, she says very quietly, I could actually use a little bit of a crew. And you kind of see the wheels turning in her mind quickly. Like she's experienced at dealing with in high stress situations.
And do you want to tell us about why you ran in here?
Not right now.
Okay.
But what are you doing here? That would be a good thing. As she kind of looks back over her shoulder.
Well, right now we're having a drink. Would you like one, darling?
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Settle your nerves a bit.
Yeah, that would be great.
Vosk will get up and then walk to the bar to get some drinks then.
Okay.
I'll go. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say I'd go with him.
Yeah, so then
yes,
Zarko
leave all of the important people without
right? No, it's cool. Zarko sees the two of you standing up. He's about to get up because he basically made the offer, but then he sees the two of you move, so he just kind of kicks back even further, like, let them handle it. And just like, so, hot out there.
It is hot. I can't wait to get off of this bloody planet. What about you all?
Yeah, I guess that wasn't so subtle.
But a very astute observation on the volcanic planet.
Yeah, I meant you got somebody on your heels, do you? I'm saying that a little quieter.
She looks at you and says, "You're not very discreet, are you?" And then we're gonna cut over to Vosk and Kane. As you walk over, you two are walking over to Feartac to the bar.
So you said it's in the center. We specifically want to do it in a way that I imagine Kane would understand this as well. We want to go to the side of the bar that leaves us looking past Fear Talk and still see them. We don't want our backs to the guys.
Okay.
We're essentially, now they got to worry about 2 areas if something pops off.
Okay. So as you all, I am going to ask, as you guys walk discreetly, I'm actually going to ask Zarko and Ellie to give me a sort of check that I know. Both of you give me a deception check, and let me get the dice pool set real quick.
Okay.
It's going to be an average difficulty.
So since we haven't really talked about this yet, do you want to be the one who puts dice in the GM pool and then
yeah.
re-roll? Okay.
Yeah, I'll do that.
So then we don't have to do
So-
anything except roll?
Yeah, so it
Okay.
should, in theory, be
Boom.
set.
Oh wait, why did it?
That was
Oh.
definitely not an average check.
Yeah,
It shows 2 on my end.
yeah, it
but
had.
Zarko probably has stuff in his sheet
Oh, I didn't mean to do that. So
from when you were testing yesterday.
let me try that again.
I mean, all things considered, what you rolled, that was
But why did
I
it
do-
roll? The light side, was that supposed to be in there?
I
Yeah.
don't know. We're gonna ignore the force die.
All right, fair enough. Let me redo that then. So here you go. How about this? Ugh.
Okay.
All right.
One,
do I
one threat for
roll
me.
mine, or?
Yeah, roll yours, Ellie.
Okay, I had already rolled it. I didn't know if you want another reroll.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see. I
I
thought
will
that was
take
all
that
Zarko.
roll though.
What was your roll?
My roll was 1 success and 1 triumph.
Okay.
So I'll take that.
So for the threat, what I'm gonna say is, Zarko, as you're kind of talking, you're a very friendly individual. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
How do you feel about, like, you put your hand on Shay, and she kind of looks at you, and her face actually for the first time kind of opens up to the broader cantina.
Okay.
Ellie.
Yeah, I would probably maybe like give her. Maybe she sat down like right next to Zarko or whatever because he's on the edge, and so he maybe even scooted over to let her in, and then maybe gives her a nudge or something like that to get her attention or what have you.
Okay. Yeah. So she looks at you, and you see her kind of, her face go pale for a second. And she turns back very quickly. Ellie, you have a success and a what's the right term for that? For the
Triumph.
awesome one? And a triumph.
For the awesome one. I like that.
So do you have thoughts about how you succeed and how you want to use that triumph?
I don't know how to use triumphs out of combat. So
There is a chart for that in the
Yeah.
Discord that you can get to, but
Okay, cool.
it can be used to set the scene, right? So you can use that triumph to set things to your advantage. There is a back door in this bar that if we need to get out of, we're closer to the back door than the front door, or something in the actual space that we're in. Outside of combat, if we're leading up to a combat,
Yeah.
you can use that to interject things. Same thing if
Yeah.
you roll a triumph on your initiative roll, you can say, hey, there's whatever in this room.
May I suggest something too?
Mhm.
I think maybe this might be an opportunity where you could like figure something out about Shay. Is that a way it could be used?
I think given the nature of what the purpose of the roll was, I would say
Yeah,
if it was like a
because it was
perception roll or
deception.
something like that,
yeah.
I would say focus on
Focus on the roll.
Yeah,
Yeah.
focus on the roll, right? So you're doing a deception. You're trying to trick these thugs
Mhm.
into thinking that this individual who just offered you a good chunk of money is not with you.
Mhm.
And this is my first time DMing a more homebrewed thing of this, and I've only done the beginner box. But my general style is narrate what you want to do, And if we have to change something to make it fit the mechanic, that's where I prefer to do, as opposed to like, oh, mechanically we have to do XYZ. Like let's tell a story together. And so kind of what your imagination goes, roll with it, and we'll figure that out.
Okay. So could I use that to maybe like quick do a like on 3 laugh, and then like laugh and kind of put my arm around her and kind of move her into a better position so that she's like not as noticeable. Like if she turns her head again, she can't be seen.
Yeah. So let's say basically what happens is so Zarko, you kind of get her attention. She looks, you see that pale face. Ellie, you see exactly, and you reach across and grab her hand and kind of give her a knowing look and start laughing and pull her over Zarko to be more into the middle, more in the middle of the booth, as opposed to on the edge where someone who just ran in would be. And you all, she looks at you, and you see this like, oh, thank God someone knows what's happening. Look rushes through her eyes. I am going to check something real quick. And Vosk and Kane, what are you guys doing while I check this?
I'm going to note 2 things out of character on triumphs real quick. One, a triumph is multiple things. It is a triumph, and it counts for critical hits and the triumph mechanic, but there's also a success built into it. So on Ellie's last roll, she had a success, but that success was canceled out by a failure. But there's a triumph built in, or there's a success built into the triumph, so she still succeeded. And it's important to note that because based on the way this system works, sometimes you will have a triumph that exists, but you will have no successes because the success built into the triumph will have been canceled out. So just a fun fact for those folks who are trying to figure out the dice pool, just note that the triumph symbol has 2 things at work there. And the second one is that there is the triumph, and then there's a bad version of it called a despair. And despite the fact that all the other symbols on the dice cancel out, triumph and despair do not cancel out. So in a dice pool where you have yellow die, the proficiency die, and red die, the challenge die, you can have a scene where you get a triumph and a despair at the same time, and you have something really good and something really bad both happen, and they don't ixnay each other. Learning.
Yeah.
Hey!
New systems. So Vosk and Kane, you walked over to get some drinks. Furtak kind of sees you, says, what would you want? What do you want to, what can I get for you? These, and she kind of glances over at these hut thugs that walked in. She says, these folks aren't here for you, are they? I don't want you. You know, I don't like trouble in my cantina.
Yes, of course. We know you don't want trouble. We hear it often.
Yeah, I know. You're some of my favorites. Yeah.
I'll have a Corellian ale.
No, of course.
I think we're just going to get around to those for the table. They might not be for here for us, but I'm a little concerned something might be about to pop off. So just keep an eye out.
She says, you know, I got my friends beneath the bar. And she points, she kind of nods down, and you see her, shoot, I forgot what the Wookiee weapon is called.
Bowcaster.
Thank you. Goodness gracious.
Out-nerded by your players. Good job.
Hey. Listen, I
got
made
a
her.
lot on his mind, Niffer.
Yeah, and you see her bowcaster down there. And you also, as you kind of look down at that, you see there's notches kind of on the bow part of it.
Because
there's a
there
lot.
is.
She's my favorite.
Voss is just going to say, just a friendly courtesy. We're not going to start nothing, but I just want to make sure that you're tracking in case
But we
things
will
heat up.
finish it.
These, as she says, Cookie, these Venderajar huts, they're rash, but some of them get a little scared. And she turns her back and starts pouring these ales, puts them on a tray, and says, "You want me to take them for you, or are you going to take them over there?"
I'll take them so that she can still be behind the bar and near the much better weapon than I have. So I'll wait for the tray, but I will use this point since I am behind the bar from those guys to go ahead and basically unsnap my blaster holster. You know, that little strip of leather that goes across the heel, I basically just want to fold that down so that I can draw if I need to.
For the sake of mechanics, I'll say that you can pull your weapon for an incidental instead of a maneuver.
Copy.
With that, and she says, and it'll just be 5 credits for you all. However you want to do that.
I'll hand it over.
Okay. So yeah.
Credits in Star Wars are a little fuzzy. Sometimes they're just like sticks, and sometimes I don't know. So we do whatever the appropriate exchange is.
Yeah, I'll say on Socorro, you guys actually have some physical coins. It feels like the kind of place that would have that. So you have a few coins that count as credits in there.
You got to have them when you're gambling. So
yeah, exactly.
Speaking of gambling,
Oh,
are there
boy.
people gambling in here?
Sure. Why not?
Yes, and
I will say kind of. So the entrance was to the right. To the left, you see there's a second small room, and you see a couple sabacc tables over there.
Sweet.
You gonna do anything with that, or just curious?
Mostly just curious. I do think since Vosk has got the drinks and is going to take them back to the table, I think that Kane is going to try to maybe find a table. It doesn't necessarily have to be a gambling table, but he's going to sort of mosey on over and try to find a separate table or a group of people to sort of blend in.
Okay.
And separate from the group.
Okay, yeah, I will say kind of on this left side to the bar where you can still see where they entered in. You kind of find an empty one of those like bar height level standing tables. You can pull your drink up to and just kind of keep an eye. And if you want someone to be there, why don't you describe them? And if you want to be by yourself, that's fine.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was just looking for a group to like blend in so that they don't.
Okay.
So I'm not like standing out, but I'm also not sitting at the table with the rest of the group.
Okay, I'll say you see a Nikto who's an orange skinned Nikto, which they're kind of bigger. They've got kind of spikes coming out, and a Trandoshan kind of sitting. They've got some. They look like that you could really talk some shop about being a hired gun mercenary type.
Perfect.
That you can blend into. And the two of you, as you're kind of going about these two parts, Vosk, as you're carrying this tray of drinks, Kane, I'm assuming you grab one off and kind of walk off the tray. Vosk, I want you to also roll me a deception. This one's going to be a pose, though.
Okay.
So let me real quick set the thing with the stuff. The dice pool. Yeah, the dice pool. And you can do that. Oh,
Ready
shoot.
when you are.
I am not ready because I was on the wrong thing. Okay, go for it. Should be set.
Okay, I am clicking the button. 3 threats. I
Okay.
fall prone. And drop all the drinks.
So as Kane pulls this drink off of the tray, you had it set perfectly. The weight was distributed so nicely, and Kane drops it, and you fall and spill, and it shatters, and you see the 3 of these look directly towards you, and your friends, Ellie and Zarko, kind of look over to you, and as does Shay, and there's a gasp from Shay, and you see them all draw their guns and say, "You're the one we're looking for." And the 3 of them pull their blasters out, and I am going to need everyone to roll initiative.
Oh, hell.
Boy.
Cool or vigilant?
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
I'm gonna say vigilant. You guys were aware of the situation. You know you're trying to be cool, for lack of a better term.
You said vigilance, but cool is if you are prepared for a fight. Vigilance.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, cool.
Oh, so I did
Excuse
that
me.
backwards.
I got those backed up or mixed up. Yeah. Roll your cool, and gotta find them.
3 advantage for Zarko.
4 success for Ellie.
3 success and what did you say that was?
Advantage.
Advantage. Thank you. 3 success and an advantage for Kane.
Way to go, us.
Singular advantage for Vosk. You got to clear that there dice pool, friend.
Thank you.
For the listeners, while he messes around with Roll20 sheets, there are 2 different types of initiative in this system. There is cool if you are setting a trap and expecting a fight, and there is vigilance if something pops off and you weren't really expecting it. The roll that you make is an unopposed check, so you just roll whatever your initiative dice are, but you do not roll negative dice, no challenge or difficulty dice. The results of that die roll then determines your initiative order, and it starts with number of successes and it ranks those, and then it goes number of advantages. So Ellie rolled 4 successes, so she would claim the first spot, and then Kane got 3 successes and an advantage, so he would go next. If somebody else had rolled 3 successes but no advantages, he would claim a spot in front of them because he has 3 successes plus 1 advantage. The next fun bit is, unlike D&D and other systems like that where you have a very specific initiative roll, each of these slots is just a player slot or a bad guy slot. And then we get to think about the situation and go, hey, there is a PC slot up first. Since you want to throw a grenade, you take the first round. That way people aren't moving into range. So you go ahead and take your turn first and throw your grenade, and then we'll go afterwards, so that you can kind of stack it to your advantage, but you'll see how quickly that can work against you too, because somebody will go and then the battlefield will change. You're like, man, I wish I would have hung back. So, question, sir.
Yes.
It is 7:00. You mentioned a 7 to 7:15 break.
Yeah, let's do it right now, right as we're about to.
Perfect time.
And we'll come back and do the initiative and start that battle. So to set the scene before we break, we had Vosk get some drinks as Kane took one off. He stumbled and spilled, falling prone on the floor, and the alarm of Zarko and Ellie and Shay in this booth brought there enough attention to these thugs who noticed and shouted out and indicated that they are going to engage in some combat. So with that, we're going to take about a 10 to 15 minute break. Let's do 15 because I can hear my kids screaming. So it'll be fun. So back at 7:15 and we'll see what happens. Ooh, that's that. Welcome back to the stream, or to the show stream, everybody. I'm stuff. People who are not me talk about stuff.
And we are back. We are back from our break. Our GM is currently looking up some stuff in the rulebook, so we're going to entertain you with some fun facts.
Quick, everyone, what's your favorite Star Wars fun fact? Go.
For real?
I don't
'Cause
know.
that's easy.
What's your favorite fun fact, Gregory?
Wait, fun facts. Oh, that's not good. I need to
Spoke too
think about
soon.
that one.
Well,
Yeah,
then I'm going to
for
go
sure.
back to what I was going to do, which is just for those of you who are learning the system, you have multiple things you can do on your turn. You have your action, which is your shooting and using your skills and stuff. But you also have what's called a maneuver. Maneuver can be used for moving, but also things like dropping prone or standing up from prone or drawing your weapon and those kind of things. And so since Vosk is currently prone, I will need to use a maneuver to stand up if I do not want to be prone for the fight. Being prone means that anyone who makes an attack against me will have a black setback die. A ranged attack against me will have a black setback die because I'm harder to hit since I am down on the floor. However, anyone attacking me with a melee weapon gets to add a blue boost die because I will be easier to hit since I'm rolling around on the floor.
So you could turn it to your advantage and take that as a shooting position, right?
Until the need warrants me standing up, I'm going to lay here in this puddle of beer and
I love it.
It's a
across the
free
bar.
action to lick some off the floor.
Ew.
All right. I'm good. I'm good to go probably. I probably screwed something up, but that's what this game is about. Okay, so as was already said, welcome back. You learned about being prone. That's cool. I'm going to talk way too fast for any sort of podcasting medium ever. And I'm going to say all the time, and you're going to have to edit that out. You and Wade can commiserate about that. You're welcome. So, where we left off, the party, as they were sitting in Furtalk's Lounge, this small kind of cantina in the neutral zone of Achaia, the capital city of Socorro, all these fun names. They were interrupted as a woman who flashed very, very briefly a rebellion insignia asked for their help and offered them 400 credits to keep these hut thugs from apparently finding her. They were doing a fairly good job until our Duros friend Vosk spilled some drinks and fell over. Kind of bringing attention to themselves, they pulled their weapons out, and we rolled initiative. And so with that, we have our first PC initiative slot. If you guys have discussed how you'd like to go about that, you've got these three kind of walking down the steps. There are a couple tables, like kind of those bar height standing tables that don't have chairs around them. We'll say, for the sake of funsies, we'll say there's three civilian. You guys are on a criminal planet, so is there really any civilians? Three individuals in between kind of where the group ended up and these three walking down.
I have a question, GM. So Shay, she's just wearing like a cloak. Is it possible to tell if she has any kind of like heavy clothing or armor or anything underneath it, or is like she just in street clothes with a cloak?
I'm gonna say at a quick glance, she's basically got she's got thick clothes on. You don't see anything that is specifically armor.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's some padding there.
Before we actually start, do we want to establish where we are in terms of range for this? Because I know that we do different range bands, and maybe you want to stop to explain that.
Yeah, so that's a really, really good point. Thanks, Differ.
You stole my thunder. So
instead of like D&D, which many people who are on here are probably familiar with, that deal with very specific ranges, 5-foot cubes, 60-foot ranges, 120-foot, all that stuff. Ranges in this game are more, what's the word I'm looking for? Relative. That's not the right word.
I think it works.
Yeah, relative.
Fast and loose.
Yeah, they're much looser. They have what are called range bands, and I'm going to pull that up because I'm going to forget them off the top of my head.
They're on roll 20.
Yep, that's what I was pulling up right now. So you have 5 range bands that kind of help operate and keep this game more narrative as opposed to like a miniatures. I move 5 squares and do this and that. You have engaged, which is what it sounds like. You're right next to somebody fighting with your fists, with weapons, melee combat. You have short, which is essentially like blaster pistol range. It's described as kind of a few meters, so you can speak without raising your voice. Basically, talking across a room. So maybe like 10 to 15 feet. Medium gets a little bit longer, so that would be like maybe, I don't know, 30 to 50 feet. You have to speak loudly. You can't really throw weapons super accurately from this range. Long range is down the street. If you want to communicate with someone, you're yelling as loud as you can. And finally, extreme is like sniper rifle range. You need scopes to see. You're getting into like the miles distance. But those are especially for like combat, like what we're about to jump into. Those are what the ranges are used for. So to move between those, there is a set number of maneuvers, and each character has a maneuver and an action and an incidental. Which incidental is something small, more or less a free action in D&D terms. A maneuver is similar to movement, but there's more things that you can do. You can holster or unholster a weapon. You can move between certain bands. So, for instance, to go from short to engaged, that's one maneuver. To go from long to medium, though, as it's starting to cover bigger distances, that takes two maneuvers.
As you bring that up, it is important to note that engaged is a subset of the short range band. So it's not its own. Things that are engaged are short range from each other, but if you are in short range from something, you take a maneuver and you engage with them, but it's all within the same bubble, basically.
Yeah. And the range bands have assigned difficulties, which we actually haven't really talked about the dice pools that we've been rolling. But instead of trying to hit like a number, we have a special set of dice that determine, and I'm not going to explain each one because that's too long and we should get back to the story. That determine your success or failure. So more difficult things include more dice. They're called difficulty dice, but more difficulty dice, easier things have less of those. And then your skill determines what kind of dice you get to roll in a given situation. So with that, should I reset the scene, or do you guys have a good
to go?
Good idea.
Want to place ourselves in the bands where we are? Like,
that's
figure
a good
out what's our
idea.
short range?
I would
So
say
start?
you're in a smaller cantina. I would say all of you are in that shorter range band. There's not a ton of space in here. Maybe if you chose to back up all the way against the far wall, that might be medium range at best. But I would say in this space, you're all kind of in that short range.
Perfect. So
Vosk has no desire to take that first PC slot.
yeah, I was thinking that that Zarko would actually try to move and like get Shay out of harm's way. So like
I was
maybe
just gonna flip the table
literally-
and hide behind it. So
even better. But I would think he's gonna try. If we're in a booth, he would try to like put himself in front of her between her and these other criminals.
Okay, I would say that is probably just pushing her down. That's probably more of an incidental. You're already in a booth. Like you can basically put your hand on
All
her
right.
and push her
So
down.
he'll pull a Han Solo. And say, all right, stay behind me, and he's just gonna take a beat and shoot.
Okay, so using your maneuver to pull your gun out, and you're going to take a shot.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, boy.
It's on. Let's do it.
At short range.
First combat roll for us.
Let me get the pool. I have too many windows open. Something dice pool. No. Get rid of that. And that's easy. I am going to give you is the correct term a challenge die? The black die?
Setback.
A setback, thank you. A setback die, as there are individuals in between you and these.
I think I have something for that, actually.
That's interesting.
I'm pretty darn positive I do. So let me check on my combat page here. Yeah, so I have Quick Strike.
Okay.
When performing a combat check during combat, the character adds 1 boost die per rank of Quick Strike to combat checks against any target that has not yet acted in the encounter.
Okay, cool. So I will add that boost die for you.
You're always going first in combat.
Fun stuff.
So it doesn't take away the setback die.
Which is why I still can't figure out how the hell Kane got one up on me. But
all right,
he's
the
just a
dice
better
pool.
fighter.
The dice pool is set.
Awesome.
You
All right.
you have a habit of thinking you're the best fighter until another person
You
comes
know,
along.
that's
Just go.
how exactly right. All right, here we go. So I'm not affecting any of the input values, right? I'm just. Do I need to add my own boost, or you already did that?
I already, in theory, did that.
Here we go. Hua!
There
How
it is.
about
Two
two
successes.
success? Pew pew.
So that will be.
Total of
I'm
7 damage.
Yeah. So what's cool about this is your weapon has a set damage, and then each success you add a point of damage to that. And then the baddies.
It is important to note, because people sometimes mess this up. It is not after the first success. It is every uncanceled success adds 1 to the weapon damage.
Mhm.
That's something that a couple of my games did, and a couple of podcasts that I've listened to have buggered that up. Every single uncanceled success, period, add that on top of the weapon's base damage, and that is the total number.
Yep. So I'm assuming your base damage for your blaster pistol is 5, and then 2 successes is 7.
That is correct.
Cool. Yeah. So he rolled his dice pool, 2 successes. So with that, whoops. So you kind of push down Shay, pull your blaster out, and just take a quick shot with that skill of yours, and your shot burns right into the shoulder of one of these thugs. It screams out and falls down, seemingly unconscious. And as he does, he even kind of smacks one of the others in the face. And seems like you've done some good damage. So we have a second PC initiative slot.
I'll do it if no one else wants to.
I don't really have anything
Go.
substantial to do, so go
Okay.
for it.
Still laying in my puddle of beer.
Favorite
I'm going
terrain.
Yes. I'm going to use my maneuver to aim and give myself a boost die on this shot.
Okay.
And I am going to reach down onto my side and pull my blaster out and fire from the prone position at one of these still standing guys.
Okay. So same thing with the tables and the individuals in between you and them. I'm going to give you a setback die.
Okay.
Difficulty is 1. It should be, you have 1 boost die, correct?
Correct.
Yep. So it's set.
There it goes. All told, I end up with 2 advantage, which is not a success, thus not any damage. But I will use those 2 advantage to pass a boost die along to Kane.
Okay. How do you want that to look?
I want
As
it
you
to
miss
look
your
like
shot.
there's a guy laying in a puddle of beer and like 4 broken cups on the ground, and they're paying attention to that, the scene starter, and not at all paying attention to the guy with the much bigger gun casually leaning against one of those bar tables off to their left side across the bar. So they
Okay.
are distracted by me and all of this craziness that they are not paying attention to him as he levels his much better gun at them and fires.
Okay. Now I'm going to need a reminder as I'm trying to find something real quick. Minions, if I have multiple minions, do they still get multiple attacks?
So the way minions work is they still take 1 action, but the
Mhm.
number of minions increases the number of dice that they have for that action. So
Okay.
if you have a squad of stormtroopers and there's 3 of them, they roll a number of dice based on, it depends on the monster stat block.
Gotcha.
But they take 1 shot despite the fact that there are 3 people.
Gotcha.
When you defeat one of those stormtroopers, it just downgrades the number of dice that minion cluster uses, but they still take 1 action for the 2 people.
That's right. Oh, and there's the minion group size. Okay. Yeah. So these thugs, as this Duros has made the scene, shot at them, got their attention, they're going to shoot. And then I'm not sure how this is going to work, but I'm gonna make it up as we go. They will have that setback die. No boosts. And this is the right sheet, right? Hot dogs. And they are gonna roll. Ooh.
Oh.
So that is 2 threats, 4 successes,
That looks like death.
which
Don't
I
say
mean-
that.
no critical because there's no advantages. But that will be 10 damage to Vosk on the ground.
Yikes.
This will be fine.
Ouchie.
And then threats. Shoot, where's my threat table?
The way damage works, folks, is unlike other systems where you have an armor class, and if they breach that number, you take all of the damage. Your armor is soak, so he's doing 10 damage at me, but I have a whopping soak of 2 because I'm not a melee person. So I will subtract 2 from that 10 and only take 8, which is most of my life, but whatever.
And I am going to say that as they've focused on firing, they have not moved, and the people in between have started to move, and the next shot against them is going to get a boost die for those 2 threats that they rolled. As kind of the crowd parts, people are running and screaming. You hear, as Fear Talk is really mad in the background.
I have a slight interjection. Is that setback because of the people between us, or is that setback because I'm prone?
The setback was because of the people between us, so they should have rolled a second one, huh?
Roll another one. Let's see if I can decrease that damage by 1.
Can I just roll? If
You can just roll it in the dice pool, yeah.
okay, so they fall.
Bro.
They're walking down the stairs, and that shot. They both kind of all this activity. They both kind of stumble over each other and fall down onto the ground.
Somebody else also spilled a puddle of beer on those stairs. So
There's so much beer on this floor, and Fear Talk is mad. She is going to use her maneuver to pull out her bowcaster.
yeah.
And let me get her page up.
She's better than all of us. We know it. Come on.
No, yeah, it's true.
She unfortunately, because I forced Steven to roll that extra die, she now has a setback die to shoot them because they are prone.
Oh.
So she has. Wait.
We stand one bartender.
There are other things that you can do with 3 threats. I just love 3 threats. You fall prone because
I love is it Tabletop Squadron where they do the prone sound
yeah,
every time.
exactly.
Every time they say knocked prone,
and
it's so good.
they have times where you fall prone, but then they figure out why that didn't happen, so they like play it in reverse.
Yeah. So
Good stuff.
Fear Talk
Wow.
fires nothing. So she just fires. You see this big green shot ring out, and it just blows apart a table as she misses.
Yikes.
And it is the next NPC or next PC's turn. As Shay is hiding under the table. Yeah. So, and just so you're aware, that was a total wash on the dice pool. 1 success, 1 failure, 1 advantage, 1 threat. All of them cancel out, so nothing happens.
You okay if I go next, Nif?
Yeah, by all means.
Sweet. So I'm gonna take my incidental to survey the scene. So we've got a bunch of them that are now prone at the bottom of the stairs. Was that all of them, or were they in 2 separate groups?
There's 1 that seems dead, and there's 2 that have kind of slipped on the stairs, falling on the ground.
So I'm gonna pull out my blaster rifle and shoot at one of them.
Okay. So close range will be 1 advantage. They're prone, so 1 threat. The people have scattered, so that threat die has gone down. So you just wanted 1 difficulty. Excuse me. Yeah, 1 difficulty, 1 threat.
Setback.
And then
go
1 boost from Vosk.
Oh, yep, you're correct.
Sweet.
Yeah, as they're focused on him, and the pool's ready.
And right before he shoots, he's going to sling one of those action hero one-liners. You should really look both ways.
Nice. Nice. Oof. That's gonna hurt.
And is that a crit?
It is. Oh yeah. You
So-
have.
Yes, you have enough
on
to
3.
crit.
Yeah.
Wait.
Minions don't take crits; they take dead.
Correct. If you crit a minion,
Perfect.
it instantly just kills one of the minion group.
That's
Sweet.
awesome.
So you can crit and kill one, and then apply the 9 damage plus
11
11
damage.
So you can do both of them.
Oh, sweet.
Okay. So, do you want to narrate how you kill both of these?
So I will maneuver the two people sitting at the table around so that they are no longer in the crossfire. Just sort of slide their chairs over as they don't even seem to notice. They just with their beer and they just sort of like slide and pull my blaster rifle out just as carefully as possible.
Mhm.
Sling my action hero one-liner as I one shot that somehow like ricochets off their like belt buckle into the second one.
Just some weird wonky physics for a second.
Yeah.
The head back and down.
And the Transocean looks at you and says, "Wow, nice shooting."
You got a fanboy.
Thanks.
And then just throws back the rest of its Corellian ale.
Awesome.
And we are out of initiative. So you have Shay pushed onto the table.
Yeah,
Uh,
help her back up.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll pull her.
Sorry
back.
about that, love. I just wanted to make sure you were safe.
Boss is going to roll over out of the beer, but still holster his gun while laying on the floor before standing up.
Nice.
Evenly soak both sides of your clothes in ale.
I rolled out of it.
She says, "Well, we should get out of here. There's probably more of them coming."
That's probably the best idea we've heard this whole time.
Do you have a safe place to go?
We've got a ship over in the shipyard over there.
Perfect. Let's get going. And you, the four of you typically, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, have been sleeping on the ship, correct?
Yes.
Save a little money on room and board. Just pay for the docking fees.
We tolerate each other well enough. Yeah.
And so that's why you spend so much time in Fear Talks Lounge. It's honestly like if you picked up a speeder, like a speeder taxi, it's like a 3 to 5 minute little quick jaunt over there. Even without a speeder, it's maybe a 15-minute quick walk.
On the way out, I'd like to pass her another 5 credits and pick up the bodies. And sorry for the mess, Fur Talk.
I'd also like to apologize to her.
She says, "Well, thank you for in her very Wookiee voice. Thank you for at least taking care of it quickly."
Do they have gear that looks like it might be useful or
They
saleable?
Wanna loot the
have
body?
nothing stands out too much. I don't need fear tech anymore.
Yes, we do.
I'm guessing that in a place like this, there were not breakable beer cups. So I'm guessing I just spilled stuff everywhere. I'm not
Yeah,
laying in a puddle of glass. So I'm
they're
going to
they're the plastic ones. She knows her.
us.
She knows where she works.
We got the kitty cups. Like everyone else gets glass. We get the plastic.
You guys remember an incident like maybe a year ago where someone broke a cup and was trying to shank somebody, and at that point Fear Talk was like, "No more. We're using plastic."
the fake wood ones.
Yeah.
I put them
They
on
have
the tray and I bring the tray back to the bar. And then since
exactly.
Kane has 2 of the guys, I'll grab the final guy and drag him out of here with us.
Yeah, so they have they just have some generic blaster pistols. So each of them have blaster pistols, and they're wearing heavy clothing. So none of it looks like it's worth much, though. Blaster pistols
we could put the blasters in the armory.
and each of them have.
I'll take a blaster pistol because I could not afford one, and so I had to buy a light blaster pistol. So if they are standard blasters, I will.
They are standard blaster pistols.
Yeah, I'd take one of those too. If y'all don't
I
mind.
was gonna try to take the time to figure out the make and model and everything, but I
That
didn't.
sounds like a problem for future Stephen.
Exactly. And they all three have.
They might be a DH-17, an SE-14, or an SE-14C.
They're not the ones that Han Solo uses.
That's what I have.
They each have 22 credits on them as well, in little credit sticks. So you guys
Those
get a total of
credits.
66 credit sticks, 3 blasters if you want, and there are.
I volunteer to be party fun.
There is a party loot thing in Roll20
Yep.
if someone wants to track stuff
Oh.
as well.
Yep.
You can take it in person, but I created handouts if you want to,
That's
where everyone
awesome.
can see it.
All right.
Okay.
I will go look if I can do that.
Now, as you all walk out, you're heading towards the
Docking bay, yeah.
the docking bay. She continues to show her gratitude, keeps her hood on, almost pulls it a little tighter. Says, "Thank you. Can we move quickly?"
Yes, absolutely. This way.
Considering the weather, though, I might note that drawing the hood up is actually a little more suspicious than just walking around normal. Are there people who know what you look like that are out here searching for you?
I'm not sure how many people saw me. I know these fellows did, but maybe you're right. And she pulls it down, and you see she's got this really long braided black hair that kind of falls around. You kind of first get a glance of her tattoos that are pretty subtle, and they're very symmetrical, going across her cheekbone, up around her eyes, and then down the bridge of her nose. And she says, "I'm just used to trying to hide how I look. I stand out, and people recognize me. Unfortunately,
You're not the only one.
Just do
Now,
what I
might I
do.
suggest?
If people start to recognize you, just get a haircut.
oh, that's a great idea." And she like quickly undoes her braid, and so it's kind of just falling down, around her. Now, as you walk, you guys make it. It takes about 10 or 15 minutes to get to the docking bay. Your ship is in what did I told you what it was in, but I don't remember. I wrote it down somewhere.
It started with a V.
Yeah, V something something something.
I'll go find it. You continue.
I'm already looking.
So you get in there. You guys are this whole
627.
city and everywhere where there's lots of interactions between different groups is all kind of sectored off. So as none of you are deeply connected to any of the cartels, as far as like being an important member of any of the Huts, the Black Suns, the Pikes are the main 3 that are here. Or a specific bounty hunters guild, you are in what's considered kind of the neutral zone of this dock of the spaceport. And the reason it's kept open is, and you all would be familiar with this, is as Socorro is known for the unique ship modifications that it can do, they don't limit it to just the cartels. There are government officials throughout the galaxy who want their ships modded specially. There are independent smugglers who work for multiple organizations who need special modifications. So this section is kind of set out to be as safe a space as possible, as there is in Socorro. Now, as you walk to your ship, you kind of get into your docking station. Ellie,
I would like to be sort of walking behind, like I actually maneuver us so that we're sort of around Shay.
Yeah, I was going to
Okay.
suggest
Casually,
an
but,
actual
like, you know.
formation of like
Yeah.
Kane in the front, me and Vosk and Shay in the middle, and then Zarko taking up the back.
okay,
Pretty
so you
much.
guys kind of have
Something
a
like
little
Yeah.
loose diamond formation around
I
her.
need my bodyguards. Yes.
Casual, but still strategic.
Now,
We've learned a little bit from Kane.
yeah. Yeah, I imagine
I
Kane kind
guess.
of directing as you guys are walking
I mean,
out.
I'm also used to being accompanied by people who take
Right.
So
And real quick,
Totally.
what do you do with the bodies before we leave that?
I was
point?
going to ask whether we just left 3 half-naked dudes in an alley or what.
I mean, can we ask
Trash
Fear Talk what
compactor.
she wants done with them? I feel like this isn't the first time it happened.
Yeah, I do it.
Okay.
Do it in character. Ask her.
Excuse me, is there anywhere in particular that you want us to take this mess, or just outside?
Just
We don't really want to
sticking-
inconvenience you. You know, dead bodies probably aren't a good thing to keep out in front for business.
I mean, you know, you've been here before. It happens. Just there's a dumpster out front. Just stick them in there, and they should be gone by the morning.
Thank you.
She nods as she's kind of cleaning up the blood, and
I try and like help a little bit, and then
There's
okay, and then just go.
there's a little like it used to be an astromech droid that she's modded to kind of help
Aw, the
take care of the
janitor.
bar. That's got some like it's got like a broom or mop that swirls at the base of it. Exactly.
Just a brush
and
wheel.
it starts cleaning up stuff as well. And she says, "Well,
Ace
maybe
Ruler.
next time you come in, you just have some drinks and give me your money instead of making me work so much."
I'm sorry, you know that we don't actually intend this.
I know, love. Those huts have been on edge or something recently. I don't know what it is.
I suppose
And she looks
so.
at Shay and she says, "You seem to cause a little bit of trouble. I would suggest you maybe keep your head down."
We're trying to teach her. Thank you.
Of course. And she gets back to scrubbing everything. And so you guys head to the docks in this little diamond formation. Ellie, as you guys are approaching, I would like you to make give me just a second, a perception check.
Oh, okay. Could be worse.
Hang on real
Oh.
quick.
He's gonna make it worse.
Yep. It's his job.
We're going to need that. Sorry, just loading up a dice pool.
No, that's fine. Do you want to tell me what's in the dice pool, or do you want me to be surprised by
Nope, you're
how
gonna
many
find-
setbacks?
You're going to find out. You're going to find out when you roll.
Okay.
I am going to give you a boost dice because you guys are walking kind of on alert.
That's so nice of you. Thank you. You're the best.
I know.
Yeah, I would say even so, like Zarko probably like is making it look like he's just kind of casually strolling, but he's actually done it in such a way that like his hand is essentially on his blaster. It's not. It's kind of like tucked into his belt, but
I love it.
his hand is right there.
Okay, so go ahead and roll that perception, Ellie.
That perception. Yay.
Oh,
Wow.
Mars
Nice.
despair.
Well, okay.
2 successes and a despair.
So with your successes,
Uh-huh.
uh,
So I see the problem and I can't do anything about it.
exactly.
I think that's what that translates to.
As you're walking up, you see a Rhodian that you haven't seen since you've been on Coruscant.
Great.
And you recognize, is this the right one? Da, 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 you're there. Sorry, pulling up notes.
That's
Hold
fine.
the phone. Da, 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 da.
While he does that, I have a quick interjection since I'm the rules person. At the end of combat, you can each roll, at the end of an encounter combat, you can have a simple discipline or cool check. Each success recovers 1 strain. We did not do that because no one took any additional strains during that first little combat we had there, but it's one of the quick ways to kind of help offset the strain that you take from taking extra maneuvers, or if you get hit with stun weaponry and stuff like that and start to pile up some of that strain. At the end, you can make it simple, which means there are no difficulty dice. You just roll whatever your cool or your discipline is, and every success that you roll, you heal a strain. Also, a full night's rest will also heal all of the strain you got. The wounds that have been piled on Vosk, those are going to be a little tougher to get rid of. You don't heal so much as you would in a system like D&D, and we'll reference D&D a lot because all of us here play 5e. But like,
Yeah, I was gonna say with your
sleeping tonight
wounds-
heal me back to full. I'll have to work on it.
I was gonna say with your wounds, I have a couple of stim packs, and probably on the way back, I would have been like, "Do you want me to see to that?" Or
Yeah. And if we notice, like, hey, Vosk, you need it looks like you took a little damage there.
I'm gonna say let's save the Simpax for something a little more rough than a barroom brawl. And as we were like piling the bodies in the dumpster, I'll probably just like rip one of their shirts and tie it around my arm or wherever I took the blaster bolt. I'm gonna say let's get back to the ship and then we'll see to this proper.
So you get back to where the ship is docked. And Ellie, you notice this Rhodian, little shorter, green. You haven't seen since your time on Coruscant, but you remember Ulthi Garo was a regular at your family. And though you didn't interact with him much, you are aware that he is a bounty hunter.
cool.
And as you all walk in, you see him as you so your ship is docked in, kind of picture those in Tatooine in the movies where there's like kind of this open space, kind of dirt area. You can walk through a door. There's a lot of space around the ship. He's just kind of sitting on some cargo boxes as you walk in. And the very first thing he does is he takes a quick shot at you.
Okay. Great.
What kind of weapon do you carry?
I have a stun blaster pistol.
Well, that's not this big of a deal. But he takes a very quick, accurate shot, and hits your stun blaster pistol that has a nice molten weld in the middle of it, and you are very confident that doesn't work.
Great.
And as he does that, you also kind of look around, and you see 3 more Black Sun thugs kind of come out from around your ship. And as he's sitting there, kind of kicking his legs, he takes that shot and is twirling his blaster. Says, "Oh no, I've been paid a lot of money to find you."
Is that money upon finding or upon returning?
Let's not get caught up in the minutia of my contract. I would advise you.
Zarko's hand on his. He's
Vosk
like,
ain't reaching for nothing.
I'm gonna like hold my hands out kind of to the side to be like not reaching for anything. Anyways.
yeah. So Zarko still has his hands in his hips.
You do hear kind of the readying of blasters from behind you because they're Ulthi is on one end of the ship. These other 3 kind of walk around, so you kind of are surrounded essentially. And Ulthi looks at the other 3 of you in the party and says, "There doesn't need to be more trouble for you. I'm making a lot of money on this."
Well, if you plan to take the girl, then there's going to be trouble.
Surprisingly, I have to agree with you.
Why don't you roll a coercion? And the dice pool is set. You are surrounded. Yeah. Did you roll it?
Yeah. I did.
Yikes.
Damn.
Got 1
Failure.
failure.
So as you do that, Wolfie just kind of laughs in his little Rhodian voice. That I don't think will end well for you.
Ulfi, did you just come here to stand and laugh and intimidate us, or are you actually going to do something? Because right now we're in the middle of something.
I need to take you, and I need to take your ship.
What
So
for?
how are we doing that? Well, you don't steal Papa's ship.
It has my name on it. I was going to get it anyway. It just matters about the timing.
You can explain that to him if you want. But I just want 20,000 credits.
You and I both know that my father isn't going to give you that.
Oh, he's paid me many times, very faithfully, every time I've delivered.
But to get me, he's not going to pay you that.
You're right, he may pay me more.
I'm going to take a step towards him. Or he might pay you less.
I've disgraced the family name, and there's no way that he's paying that to get me back.
Roll a... It's not persuasion. Why don't you roll... I'm going to let you make the call on this. You can roll coercion or deception if you think that you're telling the truth or not. That is up to you.
All right. Is the dice pool ready?
It is not.
Okay.
Zarko is also going to do his best to size up not the bounty hunter, but the thugs that are with him.
Okay. Dice pool is ready. Zarko, I'm not going to make you roll for this. You see kind of these three guys, blaster pistols, not a ton of armor, but they look like they can handle themselves in a fight. They're not unexperienced. They don't seem to have the expertise that Ulthi has.
I have gotten one advantage, and that is it for my deception roll.
Okay.
Because I know my own worth. I'm totally worth that much money.
How do you want to use that advantage?
To make him go away? Is that a valid question?
You can pass a boost die along to the next person to make a check, or you could put a setback on his next check.
Can
or-
I use it to destabilize his accomplices? Like to make them start doubting?
Sure. I will say, Zarko, as kind of this conversation is going, you see one of them. They've had their blasters out. They kind of put it down, sort of in the like, wait, am I going to get paid? And kind of as he says that, he says, "You know, I'll get paid. You know, you're worth a lot. And if you're not worth a lot, that ship it's his favorite one, and you took it."
And we broke it. There's no way he's going to be able to do anything with it. So you can tell that to him.
It does seem to have a lot of issues as I take another step towards him.
Also, there's a dog on board, so...
And it's peed everywhere.
You
Now,
definitely
here's
don't
what
get
I'm
first
thinking.
and last month's rent back when that happens.
Here's what I'm thinking. Ellie, I've known you since you were just a little girl. I think that you could pay me some money now. Or maybe owe me a favor, and I could say, "Oh, she was so quick, she got away. I'm on her tail, but I couldn't get her today." Or we can do this the hard way. As he raises his blaster up at you.
I'm gonna, like, reach... Thanks, Seal. Seal just wrote, "Yeah, Ellie, take more obligation." I'm gonna reach in my pocket and take some of the credits that we pulled off of the dead guys. And I'm going to like start walking towards him, but also kind of just like head nod with Zarko of like, "Accompany me, bodyguard."
Zarko or Kane?
Kane.
Yeah, that would definitely make more sense.
Let Kane stand back and shoot them from a distance.
See, that's why I said Zarko, okay?
I was just asking.
No, that's cool. So Zarko will sort of like, just saunter up with her.
Now that's a good start.
So this is how it's gonna go down, is it?
This is how it's.
By the way, the amount of credits that I have pulled out equals about 2, by the way.
Money now or money later? I'd prefer money now.
I'm like holding them in my hand. He can't see that it's only 2 of them, but I'm holding them out and I'm like walking towards him.
While they're distracted, sort of haggling about money with my hands up, I'm gonna sort of start itching my neck, but start working my hand towards my blaster rifle.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not
Oh,
gonna get ready
God.
at all because it did not work great for me last time. So I'm going to let all the shooting start and then I'll join the fun.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to ask above table, like, what's our normal play? Because Zarko is pretty much ready to just start. Well,
I'm with you on that
I
one.
shouldn't curse. I forgot we're doing PG. Zarko is pretty much ready to get things started.
Correct.
So, I mean, I feel like if
I'm
enough time has passed that he feels like he can get the drop on this dude, he's definitely going to take the first shot.
I'm definitely hoping for he uses his hands to take this money, and that's when you just point blank him.
Seriously.
Okay. So I'm okay. Like, is that nod? If you want that nod to be like, I might make you spend a light side point for this little conversation.
Fair enough. I'm totally down with that.
We're using our resources.
But if you want to say like, this is almost like a play that you guys have done before, because I know in your characters' past, bounty hunters have shown up.
Yes. For instance, one Kane McAllister has shown up.
Right. I kind of feel like at this point, at least at this point, for sure Zarko is, and maybe the group of us. I mean, shoot first, ask questions later is kind of my play.
Okay. So
that's why I was kind of like, if I feel like the other 3 are sort of incidental, yeah, it's on.
So why don't one of you, I think there's a button on where you can use a light side point.
Yeah.
Use light side.
Use that.
Here I go.
Flip it.
Flip.
Okay.
Ugh.
So as you do that, as you offer that money, Ulthi holsters his weapon and reaches a hand out.
Yes.
Quick draw.
And you're going to take a shot?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
I don't know how surprise rounds work in this game, so I'm going to make this up. I'm going to... Regular?
No, I said right on.
Oh, cool. So Zarko, I'm going to let you make an attack, and then we're going to roll initiative.
Woohoo!
Does that seem fair? Does that seem fair to everybody?
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay.
I love it.
So maneuver, pull that out. You had it ready. Take a shot. I am going to give you a boosty because you are right next to him, and he is thinking that he's making progress on this.
And then he finds out I literally gave him 2 dimes.
And I think close range is one.
Short range is
Easy.
1. Yes,
One
1
difficulty.
difficulty.
Yeah, I imagine I was staying 2 or 3 paces behind Ellie, just kind of moving up with her.
The classic bodyguard stance.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Dice pool is set for you.
Hiya! Critical? No, I need 4 for a crit. Damn it.
Oh.
That was 3 advantage.
You must hit the target and deal damage
Oh, okay.
to
Cool.
crit them.
Thank you.
So that's a fun note. You can successfully hit something, but if their soak eats all of the damage,
There's no crit.
your crit doesn't do anything.
Fantastic. That makes sense. So with those 3 advantage, though, I definitely want to do something fun.
I do think you can disarm him is an option.
Yeah,
That I'm
that's
seeing.
perfect. That's perfect. So he's he's been walking up super just Joe casual, and I think that's exactly what he does. He just and it's gonna shoot the blaster off of his hip.
Okay.
Payback. That's how it feels.
So with that, you you take that shot kind of as he was putting his blaster away, and just kind of it doesn't hit his hand. It comes close enough that he's so shocked he drops it onto the ground, and he's been sitting on this crate, right? So it kind of falls down in between a couple crates, and we're gonna roll initiative again.
Yay!
So this is cool because
Sorry,
we're all.
guys.
So I think with the head nod that Ellie gave, I will say you guys can roll cool. I think he's going to roll vigilance because he thought it was going differently.
Oh, nice.
He thought it was going differently. It's a good way to put it.
And
Sweet. Zarko got 3 success and an advantage.
Nice.
nice. And these guys.
Boss got 3 advantages, which I think is what I got the first time.
Ellie got 2 success and 2 advantage.
Kane got 1 success and 2 advantage.
Good job, team.
And
It's like we've done this before.
these fools got whatever showed up.
Got nothing.
Yeah, this is
Nothing.
probably exactly what you guys did to me.
Without this, with not even close to the same level of success, though.
Oh, I guess Alfie's joining
Feels
our
good to be
crew
part of
if
it.
this goes the way it did.
All right.
Initiative is 3 PCs, an NPC, 1 more PC, and then the final NPC.
Mm-hmm.
What is Shay doing during all of this?
Shay will go on their turn. Yeah.
Okay. But like, how's she feeling with this mess? It's like, hey, I trust these people to keep me safe. Oh, they're wanted.
Oh, they got their own problems.
Oh, the family drama.
PCs. Who's going first?
The killer in the back, Kane.
Yeah, I think
I'm ready.
Kane
I'm
would.
ready to fire.
Yeah, like somebody with
He
a
was
big
reaching
gun
for
go
it.
first.
Okay.
So the second I see his blaster come out of that holster, I'm spinning around, flipping my rifle off of the back, and I'm gonna take a shot behind me.
At the thugs.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'm gonna say, "I'll give you a payday."
Okay. And they're going to be, they're a little.
One-liner count. 2.
They are a little further away. They're kind of at medium range, kind of back closer towards the ship. Though they haven't been particularly trying to get any cover or anything like that. So the dice pool is set for you.
All right. Just let me make sure I don't have any. Nope. Long and extreme. Fire. Phew.
Oh, shoot.
Solid.
Read it
Call
off.
it out, bud.
Tell him, bud.
Oh, I got 2 successes, 2 advantage, and that highly coveted triumph.
Sweet, sweet try.
Which a triumph is an automatic crit, right?
It can be. You don't have to use it as one.
Okay.
You can spend it on multiple things, and a crit is one of those things. Which a lot of the times, especially as you're fighting minions, it's worth it to just crit
Just pop
and
'em.
take one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll probably. That sounds good.
Okay.
If he chooses to shoot the not minion, just as an example, and he does the crit, it doesn't automatically kill that person, and then he rolls on the critical injury table.
Yeah.
So we'd go into that when he starts shooting something that's not minions.
Nice. All right. So you've got a crit. You've got, is that 11 damage?
11 damage.
Bam.
So you have this quick trigger finger, and you pull that thing out and it's pew, pew, pew. You get 3 shots off, and 2 of them just drop to the ground lifeless, and one of them, it hits him in their sides, and you see it's the one who had kind of started to put his gun down, and you see him starting to back away. Well, how do you want to use your advantages?
I'm. What?
My thought was that this kill spree using that advantage is he's going towards that surrender.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, I'd like to look at him. I'd start running if I were you.
Yeah, and you see him. I'll say he just straight up drops his blaster as he's holding his side. And it is the next PC. That's a very effective turn.
Epic.
I keep some good people around me.
So,
Do I want to go straight in for intimidating him out, or do we want to kill him?
Go for it.
I'm asking my crew.
well, I would say that Zarko would draw down on the bounty hunter, like between the eyes.
All right, why don't
I'll let you try that, and then I'll intimidate him.
there's two PC slots. So if you guys want to kind of tag team this,
Deal.
Yeah. So so Zarko took that crack shot, and he's kind of like, damn, and then is like right in his forehead, and he says like, "All right, Ellie, what's the play?"
Can I pull out my knife, my vibro knife that I have, because it's the only working weapon that I have left now?
Uh-huh.
Thanks.
Well, we probably would have given you one of the blasters
That's
if you
true.
wanted it.
That's fair. And then just kind of like get into a position where I hold him and just like start talking to him. Like, can I do that? Do I have to?
Yeah, you can absolutely do that. You don't even need to roll for that. The scenario is as such that like, yeah,
Sweet.
talk away.
Cool. Then I'm just gonna hold him, and I'm just gonna tell him. All right. So that worked out in your favor, as I can easily tell. So you're going to get a message to my father. You haven't found me.
No, I haven't. I definitely haven't found you.
And all
no.
of your crew abandoned you.
Yes, they did. As that one guy runs through.
I just kind of like glance up, and I'm like, abandon you. And you're afraid of the planet, and you don't want to go back.
Yeah, I heard you were on Corellia.
Yes, that sounds like a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Yes,
very smart. I've
will-
known that for a very long time.
Yes, thank you. Might I go now?
I'm just gonna kind of like look him down for any more weapons if he's got like a holdout blaster or anything.
You're thinking that, yeah, you're thinking the same thing I am, Ellie.
Just to
Giving him a pat down.
yeah.
I might even hold him and let Zarko do the pat down, honestly, just to like get.
I will say, Zarko, you do find the he's got a little data chip that has the bounty for Ellie,
Nice.
which is for 20,000 credits. It's posted. The Ellie says dead or alive. Ship in good repair.
Ship also dead. No.
No, Ellie dead or alive. Ship in good repair. Is what the bounty currently says.
Voss finds that amusing, considering he's been working on the ship.
The ship is in better repair than when we left with it.
You do also find 150 credits.
Yes.
Does that say 20,000 credits?
Yeah.
Huh. Bounty's been raised.
What were they going to pay you?
Yes. How is inflation doing for me, Kane?
And then Othi says, am I free to go? You see the fear in his Rhodian eyes. I don't know how Rhodians show fear. Big buck eyes.
Yeah, so as long as we feel like he's sufficiently disarmed, then
I'm gonna just to add a little bit of insult to injury. I'm just gonna like take him by the chin and just be like, I guess there's a bar over that way that needs a janitor. You can go help them first. And then just kind of like point him in the rough direction of first.
He just nods at you quickly, kind of glances down to where his blaster fell, looks back at you and Zarko. And
Vosk is already shaking his head.
I love it. Vosk and Zarko do it at the exact same moment.
And he
I'm just gonna say we don't let people keep souvenirs. I'm sorry, and I pick it up instead. Just kind of hold it up and be like, "Run
I'm
along."
sure you'll be able to find another.
And I will say, as he kind of runs back and looks off, you see kind of that fear has turned into a little bit of bitterness real
Right.
quick.
Of course.
Oh, did I take his favorite gun?
And he leaves.
He'll be
You
back.
picked up a disruptor pistol,
Sweet,
which the stats you can find in the core rulebook.
sweet.
And Shay looks
Make
at
an
you all.
enemy straight out of the gate.
And Shay looks at you all and she says, "Wow, you are very, very effective. I really think I have."
Are the others are they gone now at this point?
yeah,
Are they
well,
gone?
two of them are dead.
Well, yeah, sure.
And then
We
that
should've
one
made
ran off
him
in the
pick up his
conversation.
dead comrades first before I sent to go help him with the bar.
but now the Rhodian's gone out of earshot.
Yeah.
Okay, so as soon as Shay says that, Zarko collapses on the crates that this Rhodian was sitting in. He's just like, I cannot believe that we got out of that one that easy.
I have already collapsed on the crates before he did.
You guys can have fun lounging out here and everything, but I've got a chest wound that needs seeing to. So
Yup,
I'm
in
gonna
the ship. Let's go.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna-
quickly. Yeah, let's go quick.
And
All
then
right.
I just everyone.
Yeah, I think we just as fast as we can collect whatever those dudes had and get on the ship.
Maybe also try and find a dumpster for those bodies, or
Oh, not about
Probably
that
drag
way.
them away
Oh,
at least.
I'll say.
Can we?
So as you
can
guys
we-
are doing that, a Doug kind of walks in on his hands and says, "This is the 5th one today. You need me to take care of those bodies?"
if
and you
wouldn't
can keep-
mind.
You can keep his credits. We just take
Ah.
whatever blasters they had.
That's their
Oh.
standard blaster pistols.
I had already
that's-
added the 150 credits to the party.
Well, the 150 were from Ulfi.
Yeah, you've
Sweet.
got that.
Sweet.
Yeah. He says, "Oh, wow. I'll keep your place a little extra tidy. Most people just give me a credit or two." And he goes and starts pulling the trash bags.
We're not most people. Have a wonderful
Wonderful.
day.
You do the same.
Get in the ship.
As he's on his hands.
So, what was that fellow's name? That dude that I just almost killed.
Ulthigaro.
Okay, you realize if we ever see him again, we do have to kill him.
Yes. I just figured maybe it could just take him off our trail for a while. I mean, if he's taking the message back that we're on Corellia, then that's a little bit longer that we have to spare.
He's definitely not going to be taking that message back. We better get out of here. They're not going to be more far behind.
Vosk is, as we're going into the ship and y'all are having this conversation, Vosk is still kind of got a hand over that wound. I imagine he walks in with Shay and he's kind of just like, common area, kitchen, refresher, I'll be this way. And he heads back to our
Med bay.
we don't have a full med bay, but our area that has all the medical supplies. And you just hear him rattling through stuff, full speed opening kitchen drawers, all the metal clanking and stuff. And there's some colorful language in Duro back there as he mucks around.
Yeah.
Oh,
Crap. We better go check on Vosk because we're
I'll
gonna
just-
need him.
do you want Vosk or do you want Shay?
Yeah, I'll check on Vosk. Well, I don't know.
Okay.
So I don't know which of us is the better
Which is
medic.
worse? Which is worse to deal with as a person?
Yeah, I'll deal with Vosk.
Yeah, let's check
You
my.
handle the new lady.
Yeah, I only have 2 ability in medicine, so probably.
Me too.
I think I'm.
You're going
You're
to
the
find
medic.
Vosk kind of still rummaging through drawers and stuff like that when you come in, Zarko.
Yeah.
And he's going to make some comment I don't want to have to use a stim pack on this stupid single shot just because freaking beer tray. And
Yeah. I know, my man. That was damn unlucky. But hey, our luck turned quick. What can we say,
Boss is going to be the first one to go shirtless in this show and take the thing off and then take his shirt off, but he's still got the like sweet overalls up to his waist look going on, and he's going to start like rinsing the wound.
Yeah.
And I will attempt a medicine. Can I do a medicine check on
want to do it,
myself?
or do you want me to? I think mine might be better.
I'm going to look up the rules for medicine, but
I will say if you don't want to look them up, I'm okay with you doing it to yourself because you're aware and you have like general supplies. It makes sense that you would be able to do something.
So then I just want to assist him, which if he's got, so I have 3 green,
4 green.
Okay, damn. All right.
So let's do 2 explanations here. 1, medical care. A character can attempt a medicine check to heal wounds. Each character can only do 1 of these each encounter because first aid only goes so far. The difficulty of the check is based on the target's current state of health. A successful check, you recover a number of wounds equal to the number of successes on the medicine check. And you recover a number of strain equal to the number of advantages generated. The difficulty I will have to look on. It's obviously not here because that would be a great place for it to be. So I have to look. There's a thing about it being like half health or more or something. Gregory, do you know how assists work?
I thought I did, but I don't. I know yours is higher than mine, so I don't know how that works.
So you add a boost.
Is a boost die.
Oh, cool.
So if your current wounds are greater than half your wound threshold, it's average, which I think that's where you're at, correct?
I'm on page 219.
No, he's greater than half.
Yeah.
He is greater than half.
Yes, I'm greater than
so
half.
you're at, I set and then you're going to assist. So the dice pool set.
Okay. This next paragraph is relevant. A character can attempt to heal their own wounds or recover their own critical injuries. However, this increases the difficulty of the medicine check by 2. So I am going to let Zarko do it because I have 1 dice more than he does.
Oh, cool.
But choosing to do it myself would increase it by 2. And I would much rather have 1 less good die, but 2 less bad dice.
All right. So
cool.
Yeah. So you're
that gives me 4, or it gives me 3 plus a boost.
3 plus a boost. And then the difficulty is average.
There are 2 kind of helps, though. There is help when the person helping is good at a thing, so much so that they are better than the person they are helping. And then you compare the stat and the skill of the 2 people. So you could use like Fosk's intellect, but Zarko's medicine skill. And there is an untrained one effectively, which is the one that just adds the boost.
Okay, so that's probably what we're doing because I have the skill, but I'm not trained. Like it's available to me, but I don't have any training in medicine yet.
Okay, and your intellect is what? 3?
3, yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna do it this way. You will do the thing, and I will help you.
Right.
And then.
So you're like saying like, okay, what you need. Yeah, I think what we need to do is.
Yeah. And so you make the check, add the boost.
Yep.
Is that in the pool already?
It's in the pool, correct.
Okay, sweet. Here we go. Medicine.
2 successes.
Sorry, Voss. God damn it. 2 success and 1 threat. So I imagine the threat is that, like maybe I accidentally am like, it's too tight at first or something. Or he's an alien, he's a Duros. I'm a human. I just I assume that our anatomy is the same, but it's totally not.
Yeah.
Pokes his kidney.
Yeah, something. Damn it.
He got 2 successes, so I am going to heal 2 wounds.
Yay!
He got no advantages. I didn't have strain, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so you'll notice pretty quickly there's a much higher risk in this game than in D&D perhaps, where you can start spamming healing spells or drinking healing potions and stuff. So yeah. Anyways, we're gonna move on to Ellie and Shay are kind of in the lounge area, I imagine.
Where did Kane go for this?
I'll be with you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna quick say one second. I think I left something out by the boxes, and then head down the exit ramp, and then quick call out to the dog and say, if you or any of your friends are good at a different kind of cleanup, there's a Rhodian that went that way, and he's got some pretty good stuff on him. That's all. And then just turn back up.
I love
it.
See if I can make things a little bit rougher for him.
Well, we'll pursue that. Thanks for the lead.
And then I'll head back and quick give the tour of everything.
Yeah. Shay, so as you're kind of giving it to her, Shay says, wow, I've not, this is a very old ship, is it not?
Yes, it is. It's the best we have to work with, unfortunately.
No, I mean that this is fascinating. I've never been in a ship this old. From the Old Republic?
Yes, I believe so. I wasn't really paying attention when I got the tour the first time.
It's old and a little run down, but Voss keeps it moving.
Yeah.
He's really wonderful.
I mean, it seems like you guys have a nice little crew working together.
It's taken some time.
Are you interested, perhaps, in making a little bit more money?
We always...
You did offer us 400 credits already. Are you talking in addition?
Yeah. Oh, of course. I'm sorry. This is a much more exciting day than I'm used to in my job. And she pulls out one credit stick that has 400 credits in it, and just sets it on a table. Says that should be 400.
All right.
But I was wondering, are you interested? I have 800 more credits to pay for a job.
I think we'd like to hear a little bit more about the job before we go into that.
Yes. Sorry, I'm a little bit on edge still. Not
Take
thinking
your time.
straight. I'm usually
We're safe
very
here.
professional. I have a job that's two parts. So you may be familiar that there is an Imperial compound not connected to these docks, which I'm going to jump in as a narrator and say, you are familiar with this. There's a kind of a very small compound that's kind of on the outskirts, more or less, of the city, that is run by the Imperials, as they do like having access to these things, but they understand the importance and delicacy of kind of the arrangement here. So it's more on the outskirts. They don't influence things. There are things that can only be gotten on the black market in spite of the power of the Imperial
Y'all want to buy some
Empire?
death sticks?
Exactly. You don't want to sell me death sticks.
I don't want to sound destined.
I want to go home and rethink my life.
Anyway, so back, she says, there's an individual there named Kaizet, and she gives you a description that I forgot to pull up. So give me 1 second.
While you do that, we messed up that one just a little bit because Vosk's intellect is technically higher than Zarko's. Despite the fact that neither of us were skilled, the assisted check would allow us to use Vosk intelligence and Zarko's skill, which is 0. So we would have rolled 4 green dice instead of 3 in a boost. Live and learn and then get loves.
Live, learn, get punched in the kidney.
That's on page 25 of the core rulebook.
So yeah, she says, I want you to find someone, and I have just a small, I guess, token, you could say, that I want to give, if you would. And she pulls out this small, almost like parchment kind of thing. It's kind of ripped, and she shows it to you, and it's almost like a charcoal sketch. And it's of her, and then you see this kind of thin-looking human, kind of, you can't tell their hair, but shorter hair, kind of average clothes, average look. And she says, I just need you to give this to him. he looks exactly like the picture. He's got brown hair, gray eyes. If you talk to him, he's probably going to be a little bit nervous. Speak short little phrases. That's the first part. That's the easy part. But there's also been rumors that the Imperials have found something, some sort of technology. And I'm not sure of the details, but I think it's worth a lot of money to people that I know. And it's supposed to be in kind of their main database frame. You'll have to go into the offices in there. But it's supposedly connected to the huts, and that's why those fellows were following me. I was kind of snooping around the Vindarajar huts. But if you can find those two things, I will give you 800 credits.
What kind of plans are these?
The rumors. If there's nothing, if you find nothing, but you can show that you got into the database, the credits are still yours. But we need to know. I need to know.
And where would you be in these plans?
Where would I be? What do you mean?
Are you going to help us? You seem to have some experience with the huts. Or are you going to stay strictly out of the way and make us do the dirty work?
The dirty work is not really my specialty. My specialty is hearing whispers and finding people who can do the dirty work.
My specialty isn't the dirty work either, and yet here I am. Sometimes we have to do what we don't like to do to make sure the plan goes well.
Well, if you can come up with a plan and you think that I fit into it, I would be willing to help. But I'm not good with a blaster. I'm not good with words.
I kind of like hold up the blaster that is now broken, and I'm saying, blasters aren't the only thing that is important to a plan.
You're going to hear the hum of the ship start to fire up as Zarko and Vosk are now in the cockpit doing all the cool pre-flight switches. And I'm going to turn ship comms on and kind of come over the intercom and just say, all right, what's the plan? Is the +1 coming with us, or is she going planetside? Because if we don't want any more excitement today, we're going to need to get off this rock at least for a little bit. And we are doing pre-op checks.
I kind of look at her to learn an answer of if she's staying with us or not.
And you say, you see her kind of, we can't. Are you going to take the job? If the job's here, job's not off planet.
I'm gonna come back and be like, there's a potential for more money if we stay. Do you think we should take one day to think it over, or?
Vosk is going to kind of cut back and say, we can think it over in orbit if we need to, but the ship's parked somewhere where your little green friend there definitely knows where it's at. So minimum, like, let's cool off a little bit and figure out what's going on, and then we can come back if we need to. But 3 dead guys, a bunch of hut gangsters, and whatever heat that we just caused as well.
Shay, you said you go to hearing whispers, knowing things. You got any place we can park this ship that might be off the radar?
That's a good question.
Why don't you roll a persuasion real quick? Is that a is that a right thing? No, that's not a thing.
Coordination.
Roll coercion.
Can I help in any way? Because we've both been tag teaming. Can we get another shot at doing assists in the right way?
Yeah. Seal, can you explain assists correctly?
Okay, so page 25 of Edge of the Empire Core. If the person who is doing the assisting brings something to the table, either their skill ranks are higher or their characteristic is higher, you can use that, right? So let's go with your numbers. Ellie, what is your relevant characteristic and your skills for this? What is it?
Coercion, I have 3 willpower.
Mm-hmm.
And
Higher than me.
I have There it is. So I have 2 ability die and 1 proficiency die for
Okay.
coercion.
So you have 3 characteristics.
So I have 1 rank in
one skill
coercion,
rank.
which means my ability dice turn to a proficiency die.
Right. We're not worried about proficiency dice and stuff right now. We're doing 3 characteristic, 1 skill. Kane, what is your characteristic and your skill?
2-0.
Okay, so he is lower than her and also more unskilled than her. So if he's the one making the check and she is assisting, she gets to add either her characteristic or her skill to his check. He is the one making the check, so the dice pool is 2 greens right now. So we can opt to bring it up to 3 greens or use her skill to make it 1 yellow, 1 green. Make sense?
Yep.
We get to choose her characteristic or her skill.
Or the rank.
Right. And so her characteristic is 3 greens. Her skill
One
is
rank.
Skill is
1,
one
which would
yellow.
increase one of his 2 greens to a yellow.
Yep. Which one's better?
I have a chart for that.
I think
I don't have
3
it
green.
up.
I think if I remember right, 3 greens is better than a green and a yellow. But that's
3 greens mathematically has a higher chance of success than a green and a
Succeeding,
yellow.
We're rolling it.
Do it.
And I'm gonna add the green die that's
Oh,
being
okay.
added to your pool.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. You're good to go.
Coercion, right?
Yes.
Just making sure.
All of the failing.
Dope.
The top comment on that chart, by the way, that breaks down all the dice probabilities is, this looks suspiciously like somebody trying to tell me the odds.
That's amazing.
Tell us what you got, Nick.
Oh, I got 2 failures and
Oof.
3 advantage.
Big oof.
So she says, I can't think of a place on planet, though I may have a code that might help you.
What's this code for?
It can change the signature when you're docking of your ship. It's kind of, I haven't used it yet. I don't have a ship I've needed to use it for, but it's kind of a one-time thing. So if someone sees you land, there's nothing I can do about that. But at least in the system, it won't go down as. Did I see the second sunrise plastered on the side of your ship?
You did.
Yeah, it won't go down as that.
Well, it's better than nothing, I guess. He holds out his hand.
And she says, well, I can upload it. It's on my data pad. I can upload it to your system.
Oh, that sounds like Vosk work.
You're going
Don't
to get like a
bother
cut
him.
across the intercom of all y'all talking. So, plan? We're staying here? We're going? What's going on?
We're going for now. We'll be back soon. We might have a way to hide when we come back.
Are we taking...
She says, yeah, I'll stay with you if you're going to do the job.
We have a new friend.
Vosk starts taking the ship off then.
And the toilet flushes because of the ship quirk.
It's only if you go into
We're not
if you
going
go
into hyperspace.
Oh.
yeah, not hyperspace yet.
A courtesy flush just for the sake of it, though.
Now, and as you
Gotta happen.
as you
Like
lift
leaving
off
an
these-
RV park, you have to dump tank before.
so as you lift off the your freighter brings in its landing gears, you hear that hum of the engine. There's a little jump, a little kick as you kind of almost like a car is missing for a second as the engines rev up. You get the all clear to take off from the docks, and you make it out into orbit. And I imagine with Voss kind of in the cockpit. The rest of you are sitting around a table in the lounge. And she says, well, I'm grateful. I've given you the information. I can tell you a little bit about the compound, and she kind of draws out a rough outline. But maybe with a little rest, we can get this done, and those credits will be yours, and I will be deeply indebted to you, as will many others. And with that, I think we will call it on tonight's session, on the first session.
Cool.
We did it.
We did it.
You did it. I'm going to say for the bar incident and the obligation incident, you guys have getting through those two pieces. You guys get 10 XP.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty standard way of doing it. I might be wrong. Yeah. And we'll see if you guys can pull off this job she has for you next time.
I just want to note that the obligation incident is the name of my new mixtape.
Nice.
All right. So
we're going to fade to black on Vosk up front, like flipping switches and stuff in the cockpit, and Socorro like in the view screen, and kind of giving one of those like making sure my arm still works, because Marco did not do a good job with that whole medicine check. So that's what I'm doing as the episode closes. I need some quiet time away from all that craziness to be alone with
Anyone
me
except Zarko can be in the cockpit right now.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So that's
right.
what I'm doing as we end.
Anybody else got some last little bits?
I'm just gonna head to my quarters and pick up the space puppy and just. that's where I end.
Like one of those moments where Zarko gets up and is like, all right, you got this, right? And taps him on the shoulder and goes, oh, damn it. I'm sorry. that was the real threat from.
I love it.
And Kane's just spending some time with Shay, going over the compound, asking, all the different intricacies of anything she can remember, knows, or anything like that.
Perfect. I will. I'll get you some details.
Yay!
For the next time.
Sweet.
All right.
We did
Episode
it!
1. We did a podcast episode on a stream with Star Wars in space.
We
Space
survived.
Yeah, we all surved.
Yeah.
Voss
We
was the
didn't
only
take
one
the
to take damage. Hooray.
I know. I. You guys rolled well on initiative, which I think made a big difference.
Yeah.
Well,
That
my
helped
favorite
a bunch.
moment was definitely, I think my favorite moment was sort of a toss up between Vosk dropping the tray of alcohol and
best.
slipping on the beer. That was brilliant. But then
Yeah.
the follow up with Kane, just shooting through two guys at once.
You rolled 2 different triumphs, right? Or did you got a crit and a triumph?
Yeah, crit and a triumph.
Yeah.
MVP.
Yeah.
Crits are crazy against minions.
Yes.
Yeah, instant
Just like-
death.
Why there needs to be a bunch of minions. That's
Yeah,
the
which
point
is
of the minions
that-
is
that was a good learning experience for me, is that even though there was I had a group of them doing,
it's-
I think also for initiative balance too, having 2 groups.
right, which is why a lot of the times instead of a group of 4 minions, you'll see 2 groups of 2 minions.
Yeah.
But it harkens back to kind of like 4th edition D&D did, where it's that high action scene. It's more important that lasers are flying and people are going down.
Lasers
in
are
one
flying.
hit.
People are dying.
Yeah.
That's the
then
name
it
of my
is-
mixtape.
Yeah. Then it is there's one dude with a 6 soak and 40 hit points or 40 wound, and it's lasers back and forth forever. It's the zapping stormtroopers as you run down the hall.
Yeah.
Kind of
I loved that scene of Ellie and Zarko walking up to the bounty hunter and just being like, no, that's not how this is playing.
I did not expect
And-
that to work.
Disarming,
all.
yeah, that could have gone a lot of ways, honestly. That whole encounter.
Yep.
That was fun. I feel like there was enough about each character. There's a lot of depth to your group. I had a blast. I hope you guys did too.
Absolutely.
Something that I thought of after the whole like head nod thing was that maybe just for like future like flavor text and stuff, because Ellie is a Twi'lek, she has head tails, which is legitimately like a way to communicate among Twi'leks, and maybe she's just kind of sat down and is like, hey, when I do this, it means this plan. Like maybe
that's a good idea
or something.
I like that.
Like the head
That's super
tails
cool.
cross, or the head tails twisted, or
When the head tail does this,
When the head tail smacks you in the face.
means I'm mad.
Cool. Well, everybody in the stream who was hanging out with us, I didn't see any of your messages, but I really hope you enjoyed it. I had a good time. I think the group had a good time. Seal, you want to do anything to do formal stuff?
As we go into editing, I'll see whether I actually let all that like be in there or not.
Yeah.
I think it was value added conversation talking about this stuff and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this has been episode 1 of Tabletop Galaxy, Broken Space, Second Sunrise. Because again, Broken Space is a dual group adventure. So we are Second Sunrise. There's another group out there. We don't know what they're doing yet and who's hired them and their objectives, but we're really curious to see how them and their crazy antics and their ship affect our storyline and vice versa. We do want to give a big shout out to Roll20 because technically this show is sponsored by Roll20. We have been selected by their Spotlight program, so they have provided us with a 1-year subscription to their Roll20 Pro, which you actually do need to play the Star Wars FFG system. All of the fancy dice are not by default in Roll20, but with the Roll20 Pro, it lets us use all the scripts and API access that we need to make all these crazy polyhedrons make math numbers. So,
symbols and stuff.
that's all I got. It was real fun playing, and it was real fun hanging out. So
yeah.
have a great night.
We'll see you in a galaxy far, far away.